Hello everyone, today we are going to be seeing how fast Bastiodon can beat Pokemon Platinum in a solo run challenge. Let's get straight into the video. In the last video, we already played Rampardos, the other fossil Pokemon in addition to Bastiodon, so if you haven't seen Rampardos yet, you may want to go watch that first to avoid spoilers. It's the most recent video before this one. But anyway, Rampardos is already done and over with. It was honestly a really good run, but Bastiodon's a whole other issue. If you guys want to know just how bad this thing is, look at its stats. It's got 60 HP, 52 attack, 168 defense, 47 special attack, 138 special defense, and 30 speed. This thing is slow, it can't hit hard, it's got low HP, and it's got really high defenses, yeah, but when you combine it with the lowish HP, it honestly kind of balances out a little bit. I think this thing would have been a lot better if it was like base 100 HP instead, but fortunately I can't just hack Platinum right now, so I'm just gonna have to deal with what I got. And even though we have the Steel typing, you may think it's gonna be awesome defensively. Sorta true, we're only weak to 3 types: Water, Fighting, and Ground. Here's the problem with that. They are very common typings in this game, plus the Fighting and Ground weakness, we are 4 times weak to it. So whenever we take super effective damage from almost anything, we're most likely gonna die. But hopefully we have a good moveset to make up for it, and I can definitely tell you, our moveset is pure dog. We start off with Metal Sound, Protect, Tackle, and Taunt, and then throughout level up, our next move at level 15 will be Takedown, and then Iron Defense, Swagger, Ancient Power, Block, Endure, Metal Burst, and Iron Head. This moveset has more status moves than actual attacks. I think it was because Game Freak wanted this thing to be more of a defensive wall, like maybe you'd set up some Stealth Rock on it, maybe just use Iron Defense, Swagger, maybe some Toxic, but I'm not going to be playing like this today. And if you look at our TM and HM Learn set, we kind of have a similar moveset to Rampardos. We get a lot of special coverage like Ice Beam, Blizzard, Thunderbolt, Thunder, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, and we also get decent physical moves like Iron Tail, Earthquake, Return, Dig, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, and Natural Gift. We also get Flash Cannon as a special move for the same type attack bonus, but the main problem is with Steel. Steel defensively is really good, but Steel offensively is not. Without the Fairy typing, the only typings weak to Steel are Rock and Ice. So yeah, there aren't too many ice types in the game. I mean, there are rock types, but we can just use Earthquake on them. Like, we're not going to need offensive steel moves, unfortunately. But yeah, starting this run right away, I'm pretty much mandating myself to fight almost every wild Pokemon. I actually do teach Return relatively early, because starting with Tackle is really bad. It's only base 35 power and 95% accurate. But Return is 100% accurate, and it deals damage based on how much friendship you have. I already did the math on it before I started the run. In order for Return to have better damage than Tackle, my friendship stat, which is the green number right next to the HP there, I guess I should label it a bit better, but this is just what I got for now. I need to have at least 88 friendship. That'll definitely take a little bit with how slow we're going to level up, because like Rampardos, this thing is in the erratic experience group. This Pokemon is going to be absolute torture. I can already tell you that right now. After fighting every trainer around Jubilife City, I go ahead and fight the rival, but I get to -6 in not only attack, but also my defense, and the Chimchar spamming Scratch, which I 4 times resist, actually knocked me out. I died to a Scratch spamming Chimchar. Like, this, I can honestly say that's the first time I've ever had a blackout on that fight. I didn't save before it because I was in no way expecting that. But fortunately, on the next fight, I'm able to win with 14 HP, but holy cow, that was bad. I mean, I guess I could have improved my odds by actually remembering to equip the Quick Claw, which you actually get in Jubilife City. It would have given me some chances to go first, but yeah, that's still bad. I do the rest of the trainers heading up to the Orberg Gate. I fight this one trainer with a Machop, and his low kick absolutely destroys me. So I end up blacking out again. Man, when was the last time I've done a run where I've had 2 accidental blackouts before the first gym? I can't think of any. And then right as I exit the Overworld gate, I actually have Rock Smash on my moveset. I will 100% need this for Bastiodon. Unlike Rampardos, I can't just get away with headbutt flinches and focus energy. I'm not fast, I don't get headbutt, and focus energy is an egg move. I actually took a look at the egg moves list before this run. This thing gets the egg move for Fissure. If I actually had access to that egg move at level 1, I would just out-level Roark and just have a flat-out 30% chance to win. I mean, that's definitely better odds than like spamming Rock Smash. But once I finish the last trainer in Roark's gym, I get to level 11 and I take on the first gym leader. He starts off with Geodude. Fortunately, most of his team I completely resist. Even though Rampardos took neutral damage from rock moves, the steel typing allows us to resist it, so I actually straight up completely destroy Roark's team. You may think that was a pretty great victory, but keep an eye out for the next several gym leaders. They are going to be absolutely brutal. I go back through the Overworld gate, catch myself a Psyduck for HM usage, and before I go to Floroma Town, I actually pick up the TM for Rock Tomb, and I don't teach this right away, but I will hold on to it for later. Rock Tomb will be our only same type attack bonus move for a while. It's normally 50 base power, but if we're the rock typing, Rock Tomb has an effective power of 75, but the main problem is that this move is only 80% accurate, so this thing is going to miss a lot if I try to rely on it too much. But hopefully I won't need to. Why don't we just skip ahead to the first actual mandatory hard battle? Let's take on Mars. Leads off with her Zubat, and fortunately due to my steel typing, Toxic is actually not a threat from this thing, so I can take my time. And also, fortunately, this is the steel type pre-Generation 6, so I actually do resist the dark typing in Feint Attack, and I completely destroy Mars's entire team. I also learned Takedown via level up in the place of Tackle, but I don't think I'm going to use it that much. I mainly just have it for extra PP, which is always good to have. I'm sure you can probably expect what's going to happen for the next several areas of the game. I'm going to be fighting almost every trainer and fight most of the wild Pokemon, but I do want to show this off. I'm fighting the 2 Psychics in the forest who have 2 Abras. They have Hidden Power, right? Both of them use Hidden Power on me, and I actually die. I actually didn't remember this till now. Do you know what Hidden Power those Abra have? Those things have Hidden Power fighting. Most NPCs in this game, fun fact, have a Hidden Power fighting, but almost no opponent actually has Hidden Power, so you really wouldn't know that information. And I do try my best to black out in this fight, but Chansey ended up winning the fight all on her own, so I do get to progress. Technically, this would be counted as cheating per se, but according to my rule set, I don't think so. Because you get paired up with somebody, you can't control what they do. I was obviously attempting to black out. But hey, Chansey carried the win, so I guess I'll take it. And also, just before I leave the forest, I have Rock Tomb on my moveset and I equip the Soothe Bell. The Soothe Bell lets me gain double the friendship when I level up, so this will make Return more powerful more quickly. And I also have Iron Defense on my moveset. I'm pretty sure I have no reason to want this move, but I just taught it just in case, because I really do not want Takedown on my learn set. It's a bad move. I do the rest of the trainers in the surrounding area, and then I go into Gardenia's gym, take out her gym trainers, and I decide, you know what, I should probably do a bit of training before I even do my first attempt at Gardenia. So I actually grind to level 22 in the wild, so let's see how Gardenia goes. She starts off with a level 20 Turtwig. I start off deciding what to do. I go for Return, which only does a quarter, and then Turtwig sets up Reflect and a Sunny Day, but I knock it out from a crit. And due to the sun, Cherub actually changes form and actually sets up Leech Seed and Safeguard, so I just end up completely destroyed here. Leech Seed is a very terrifying move if you have decent HP. I do a couple more attempts here, but this is clearly not going to happen, so I decide to continue training in the wild some more. I come back at level 24, and honestly, things really do not look different. I was actually really struggling trying to figure out what to do. The reason I came back at 24 was because I was thinking maybe Swagger could be the answer to this fight. Maybe I can get them to raise their own attack and hit themselves in confusion to win, but this luck just really wasn't cutting it out for me. There were very few times I ever made it to the Roserade, and by the time I did make it to the Roserade, I was always at around 3 HP or so, and I would just die right away. After getting 10 resets, I decided to try something different. I'm going to attempt blackout training against Gardenia, and if I die, I'm just gonna keep the experience and come back. This was honestly really slow because Turtwig does not give good experience yields, but something I noticed in the bottom left of my overlay, you can see the friendship value next to my HP. Even though when you faint, you're supposed to lose friendship, I ended up coming back to this fight with more friendship every time. I was wondering why this was, and I actually remembered why. Starting in Generation 2, when you challenge a gym leader, your lead Pokemon gets free 2 friendship points just for attempting the gym leader. So even though I lose and I faint, I do lose 1 friendship, but I overall have a net gain of 1. So me doing this blackout training is slowly making return more powerful than if I were to just grind in the wild, which is honestly kind of funny to me. Imagine blackout training to get friendship. Like, that's honestly insane. After doing this for way longer than I'd like to admit, I get to level 26 and just nothing happens. I decide, you know what? I think I need to stop doing this. I think I know another way to win. So I continue grinding in the wild, and I get all the way to level 28, where I can learn Ancient Power. This will be my key to victory. First up on the Turtwig, even though it sets up Reflect, Ancient Power is a special move, so it actually does not get affected at all. The main plan is to spam Ancient Power and just hope I get some Omni Boosts. On the first attempt though, I sadly don't, but I do make it all the way to the Roserade at decent HP. It hits me with Grass Knot, I miss Swagger, I get paralyzed, and I just get destroyed. Okay, I know what I need here. I need an Omni Boost, which I actually get on the next attempt, and I finally take out Gardenia. This felt really good at the time. Look at the clock. 1 hour and 24 minutes. That is brutal. If you want a comparison, the fastest Pokemon on my leaderboard is Palkia, with a time of 1 hour 51 minutes. I did re-ranks of a lot of my old runs when I took a break from editing videos, so I used the re-ranks to try and get better, and that was the best time I got. So literally in 30 minutes from now, Palkia would have beaten the entire game. So that should tell you something, but we're not out of the woods yet. This is only going to get worse. Fortunately, not starting with Jupiter. She's pathetic. I go inside the Wayward Cave, get the TM for Earthquake, which I actually think of teaching right away. I was thinking of getting rid of Swagger, but I decide not to teach Earthquake for now, because I actually want a different move. I go back up to the old chateau, get a rare candy, and I get the TM for Substitute. This is what I'm going to use for Fantina to block out moves like Will-O-Wisp and Confuse Ray. So why don't we go skip ahead and see how she does. Fantina leads with a level 24 Duskull. I outspeed it because its speed stat is horrible. I set up a substitute, it goes for Future Sight, Shadow Sneak doesn't break my sub, and Ancient Power takes it out. Next up is the Mismagius. Magical Leaf doesn't even break my sub, not even Future Sight does, but I actually get a surprise Omni Boost, and then I knock it out, but then as soon as the Haunter comes out, I realize there's a problem. I'm all out of Ancient Powers. I actually did get that PP up earlier, right underneath the cycling road, but I used it on return when I probably should have used it on Ancient Power. This ended up being a really huge problem. If I'm not going to have enough power points to try and take out this team, I either need to get Struggle, or I need to get an Omni Boost way earlier in the fight. I tried this fight for several attempts trying to get an earlier Omni Boost, but I decided to actually go drain my power points. I come back to Fantina with only 1 substitute and 4 ancient powers. I used 1 by mistake, but I used an ether later to make up for that. So the main plan is going to be to set up a substitute, spam all my ancient powers, hope for an omni boost, and then I can just struggle the rest of her team. But struggle is a really bad move to try and deal with. It does recoil damage, yeah, but it does a quarter of your HP in recoil. Whether your struggle did 1 damage or 100 damage, you're always going to lose a quarter of your HP. So this ends up causing the fight here to be really, really difficult. But however, this strat does eventually end up working for me, and I beat Fantina at 1 hour and 55 minutes with 31 resets on the clock. Yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'll just let the run speak for itself. But we don't get a break yet while we're in Hearthhome, because I have to take on the rival. Even though Rampardos had issues, surprisingly Bastiodon didn't, and I honestly think it's because of Substitute. Rampardos didn't have Substitute when I was here. I also go around the overworld and get a few different items. I go in the Lost Tower to get another copy of Return, just in case I need move flexibility later. And I can definitely tell you, I actually did need that extra copy later. I go in the Salacian Ruins, get all the high money items, get defog, get some rare candies, and I make it all the way to Veilstone City. I actually did pick up the TM for Shockwave just to the west of the city, but I don't end up teaching it because in the department store, I can actually purchase the TMs for Thunder, Fire Blast, and Blizzard. Normally, I hate using those moves compared to like Thunderbolt or Flamethrower, but our special attack is so awful that I feel like I need to squeeze every ounce of attack I can out of my attacks. But for now, I only teach Fire Blast because I plan to use it for Maylene's Lucario. I was honestly worried about Maylene this entire run because of my 4x weakness to fighting, but let's see how she goes. She leads off with her Metatite. I'm at 43 speed at level 36, while her Metatite has 40, so I do outspeed it, but unfortunately, due to Drain Punch, I'm not able to 2-shot it with Earthquake, and I get an immediate loss. On the next attempt, though, I do make it to Lucario. I used Earthquake just to see if it would kill, but it actually didn't. So now I'm like, okay, let me see how much Fire Blast does. The next time I do make it back to Lucario, I'm at level 40 because I actually used all the rare candies I had at this point. As I've mentioned earlier, due to the erratic growth rate, it's honestly a much better idea to try and use rare candies earlier in a playthrough than later, unlike most other Pokemon. But fortunately, Fire Blast looks like it one-shots, but there's actually a chance it doesn't, and this ends up being a serious issue. I don't end up winning with this strategy, so I end up having to go train just to get to level 43. If I can get to level 43, which is over a damage rounding threshold, I should be able to one-shot the Lucario very consistently with Fire Blast. So as soon as I get to that level, I will go try again. I will say though, training on the trainers in the overworld does feel a lot faster now, because the erratic growth rate really starts to speed up the higher level you are, so at least for this part in the game it feels nice. But still, we can't forget how bad Gardenia was. When I get back to Maylene, even though I wanted 43, due to how fast I was gaining levels, I was actually level 45. I one-shot the Metatite with Earthquake. Now for the Lucario, I actually get the Quick Claw Clutch and I knock it out with Earthquake instead of Fire Blast. And then on the Machoke, I go for Earthquake. It lives in yellow health. Karate Chop does a lot of damage, but fortunately I'm able to knock it out. That was 3 difficult gym leaders in a row, but if you think that's the end of it, we have the Water-type gym coming up next. And unlike Rampardos, we do not get access to Swords Dance, so we're honestly on our own here. I mean, hey, at least the rival fight was easy. Well, I'm not worried about the rival. I'm worried about Crasher Wake, so let's see how this fight goes. He leads off with his Gyarados, which starts off the battle with Intimidate, so he will always get off an attack drop, but I taught Thunder over Fire Blast, so it'll actually one-shot the Gyarados, and then I used Earthquake on the Quagsire, it does only a quarter, but then I realized Mud Shot was actually starting to do a lot of damage to me and was actually starting to hurt quite bad. I mean, I am 4 times weak to ground after all, so I actually do get a reset. I end up trying several different moves to try and make this Quagsire easier. I originally tried to come back with Hyper Beam, but it one-shot with a crit the first time I used it, so I had no idea if it was the right play or not. But next time I came back, it actually lived, so yeah, Hyper Beam is not the answer here. If Bastiodon was a better special attacker, I could have gotten away with Hyper Beam, but not today. I have some other options though. I actually come in with Natural Gift, which is a physical move that changes its type and base power depending on your held berry. And with a Ross Berry, it becomes a 60 power grass move, although it only works one time though. But when I use it on the Quagsire, it actually lives with quite a decent amount of health to spare. That shows you how bad our physical attack is, but then again, Quagsire has higher defense than special defense, so I guess I should have expected it, but still, it's a grass type move. After doing more research, I did realize there's a berry that can make it 70 power. It's called the Pineapple Berry, and I actually get it right next to the Berry Master's house just to the west of Hearthome City. I equipped this item to see if it'll actually make the knockout difference, and it actually does not. It like maybe did an extra like 7 damage, but it did not help the fight at all. The strategy though that ends up working for me on the Quagsire, I used one Rock Smash, try to lower its defense, but sadly it didn't work. Natural Gift just gets a critical hit anyway, and then on the Floatzel, I hope for the Quick Claw. I don't get it, but Brine leaves me at 14 HP, and Thunder actually one-shots it. Man, I have a sneaking suspicion I'm gonna be a special attacking Bastiodon. Normally, Bastiodon's never a special attacker, but honestly, if you look at its stats, its attack and special attack are actually roughly similar, so this thing honestly could go either way. Plus, coming up pretty soon in Celestic Town, we'll get access to an item called the Choice Specs. This item has honestly been sort of underused in other Platinum solo runs I've seen on YouTube. What this item does is it locks you into one move, but your special attack gets a 50% boost. So if I'm going to be using special moves like Hyper Beam, Flamethrower, and Thunderbolt, they'll effectively be better than my physical moves, so I will definitely be getting it. And you can actually see an instance of this item in action on the first Cyrus battle. I'm locked into using Thunder, but his whole team pretty much takes good damage from Thunder. This whole fight was relatively easy. And now that I have the HM for Surf right afterwards, I need to go around and get some things. I get a few TMs while I'm at it. I go behind the Valley Windworks to get Thunderbolt. I end up never teaching this move just because I really need the extra power that comes with Thunder. Even though Thunder, Fire Blast, and Blizzard are less accurate, with no way to set up my own stats, I honestly need the extra raw damage. But I still get Thunderbolt and Flamethrower in the Fuego Ironworks as a backup. And now we are finally at Canalave City. I go to the move deleter, get rid of Rock Smash, and I teach Flamethrower. I don't need Fire Blast right now. Flamethrower will do just fine because the next 2 gyms are going to be very, very simple for Bastiodon. So why don't we just skip straight ahead to Byron, because the rival here is really not that hard. I even left the fight at 69 HP. Nice. Byron starts off with his Magneton. I still have the Choice Specs equipped, so I lock into Flamethrower, I one-shot the Magneton, I one-shot the Steelix, and hopefully I one-shot Bastiodon. It takes neutral damage to fire due to being a part rock type. Let's see. And it lives with slightly less than half, but fortunately the second one crits. He never ends up using his Hyper Potion, and I win on the first try. That's the first gym leader I've beaten the first try since Roark. The first gym leader. Like father, like son, I guess. So now we've just got a lot of boring Team Galactic stuff. Why don't we skip straight ahead to the 7th gym? But first, before I do that, here's where Rock Polish is. It's in Mount Cornet here. You just continue heading left, push some boulders, and you can get it. It's also TM69, which is also nice. I get rid of Natural Gift for it. This is my only stat boosting move. This is just to raise my speed. So at least my speed will hopefully no longer be an issue, but I'm still not going to have way to boost my own attack or special attack without the choice specs. If you guys are wondering where like the choice scarf or the choice band are for speed and attack, those are locked in the battle frontier, yet choice specs is given to you, which I honestly find kind of sad because special attackers get way too many benefits in solo runs, mainly just from the abundance of intimidate. So come on, I just want physical attackers to have an advantage for once. Okay, let's go take on Candace now. I used all of my rare candies to get to an extra high level, and since the ground type is weak to ice but not the rock type, I actually resist ice moves because the steel type resists them. I go ahead and knock out the Sneasel with Flamethrower. I meant to set up a rock polish first, but I seem to have forgotten, but honestly it doesn't even matter. Her whole team can't even do anything to me, so that's another easy win. Skipping all the way ahead through the Team Galactic quest, we're now doing the second battle with the boss of Team Galactic, Cyrus. Having the moves Thunder and Flamethrower here makes this fight an absolute breeze. Although due to me getting hit with Screech and hitting myself in confusion a couple of times, I actually do barely make it through this fight in yellow health, so that was kind of scary, but fortunately we lived. So now with that part done, we need to do the second part of the Team Galactic quest. We gotta go climb Mount Coronet and stop Cyrus. Normally this is the part where I cover the Mars and Jupiter double battle, but Bastiodon is so defensive to most typings, except for fighting ground and water, that this fight was actually relatively easy. So we're just gonna skip all that, go through the distortion world, nobody wants to see this. So let's go take on the final Cyrus battle. He leads off with a Houndoom. I have a Rossberry equipped because I want to use Rock Polish to outspeed his whole team, but he does have Will-O-Wisp, so I need to be prepared. But he actually doesn't use it. He uses Flamethrower, so I get off my Rock Polish and I one-shot it with Earthquake, but unfortunately I misclick and go for Flamethrower on Gyarados, and then he crits me with Earthquake. Yeah, I deserve that. On the next attempt though, where I actually don't use Flamethrower on Gyarados, I just destroyed his whole team. So it's honestly nice Bastiodon's starting to have it easy now, but look at that reset counter. 54 resets. I don't think I've had a first playthrough with that many resets since some random first stage Pokemon I can't even remember. And just like before with Rampardos, Volkner is an absolute joke, but I do have an interesting episode with him, so cue the intro. He leads off with Jolteon. I try to use a Rock Polish to outspeed, but he uses Thunder Wave. Usually the AI only uses Thunder Wave to do speed control, but he already outspeeds. I think some trainers in this game just are automatically coded to use turn 1 Thunder Wave no matter what. That's like the only thing I can think of, and Raichu just kills me with Focus Blast. On the next attempt though, I do equip a Cherry Berry just in case it uses Thunder Wave, but Jolteon changed its mind and just went for Charge Beam for no reason, so didn't even need the Cherry Berry. And now we are done with the Gym Leader Gauntlet. But look at this, 3.5 hours. This will get last place on my leaderboard for sure. My current worst Pokemon is Miss Magius with a roughly 3-hour, 8-minute time if I remember off the top of my head, but if that's wrong, I'll bring up the leaderboard at the end of the video. So yeah, this thing is going to get an absolute last place playthrough, but we're almost near the end. I go through Victory Road without any episodes, which is what I would say if I didn't have an episode, but I did have an episode. On Black Belt Miles here with his one Machamp, I go for Earthquake, it lives in yellow health, and Cross Chop actually lands a critical hit. I was so shocked to see this. I didn't expect him to crit. I mean, yeah, he had a Machamp, but I was like, surely I can just get rid of it, right? I mean, he likes to use Scary Face, but no, he just uses Cross Chop. I mean, look at this. I'm sending out my HM users to have them faint. For some reason, Machamp is spamming like 2 Scary Faces on each one first. I think something in the AI codes them to always use a Scary Face first. I have no idea why. It doesn't even matter if he outspeeds me or not, which is how it generally worked in Generation 3, for example. But when I come back after blacking out, look at this. He just used a Scary Face. That guy. But with all that stuff done, I can actually get to the Pokemon League, but I'm not going to enter it just yet. I'm going to go around and get some more items. I'm actually very low on elixirs and max elixirs because I used a lot of them throughout the run. I go in Victory Road and I get 2 max elixirs. There's one right over here, And the other one is actually a hidden item right by these stairs right near the end, so I didn't know about this one. I'll definitely remember to pick it up in future runs. And I also go to the department store and buy multiple copies of Thunder, Fire Blast, and Blizzard. My plan for Cynthia is to have a final moveset of Rock Polish, Thunder, Blizzard, and Fire Blast. I was thinking also of having the choice specs, but throughout the whole run I realized if I use choice specs, if I'm locked into one move, I cannot use Rock Polish. And the problem is, Cynthia's Lucario has roughly 130 something speed, so if it outspeeds me, it will go for Aura Sphere and one-shot me. In fact, there's actually a person in Scott's Thoughts solo running Discord server named Lotus. He actually did his own Platinum solo run with Bastiodon, and he mentioned needing almost level 100 just to outspeed Lucario. I knew that was not going to be necessary because grinding to level 100 is almost never necessary, especially since we have Rock Polish. But having to decide how I'm going to have enough raw damage to outspeed and damage everything, the key is to use Thunder, Blizzard, and Fire Blast. Not Flamethrower, not Ice Beam, not Thunderbolt, but their inaccurate, more powerful counterparts. I need every raw bit of damage that I can get. But throughout that whole rant, I destroyed the rival. So now, let's take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. First up is the Bug-type Elite Four member Aaron. I used one Rock Polish and just spam with Flamethrower. Really not that hard. And then next up is Bertha. I used one Rock Polish, which honestly was a mistake because I'm going to outspeed almost everything on her team, and her Wish Cache gets off one too many Earth powers, and then her Rhyperior finishes me off. On the next attempt though, I actually taught Blizzard in the place of Flamethrower since I don't need Flamethrower anymore, at least for now. And then with the move Blizzard, I'm actually able to one-shot Wish Cache due to a critical hit, which I honestly think did matter. And with the move Blizzard, I am actually able to destroy the rest of her team, although the Glyce score comes pretty close to killing me. I should have tried to use one Rock Polish, but the problem is with me being weak to ground, I really can't afford to set up anywhere, so I just have to hope for a Quick Claw or to survive a hit. But hey, we get to move on now. Next up is the Fire-type Elite Four member Flint. I use one Rock Polish, and Earthquake just one-shots everything. Now we've got the Psychic Elite Four member, Lucian. I still have Earthquake, Thunder, and Blizzard on my moveset, but as soon as the Gallade came out, none of my moves really do that good of damage on it, but when I did actually beat it, the Bronzong that came out afterwards has Levitate, and it resists Blizzard, and it was just going to take too many Thunders to get rid of this thing. But fortunately, I have an extra copy of Fire Blast, so I actually need to replace a move, but the problem is, I can't reteach Earthquake, I can't reteach Thunder because that was my only TM, but when I continued thinking about it, I really did not need Earthquake for the champion or for Lucian, so I actually teach Fire Blast in the place of Earthquake, so now I'm going to use this move for the Bronzong. It still takes a few tries to beat this guy though, because the Gallade with Drain Punch is very powerful. I do end up winning this fight though, but I actually had to teach Return in the place of Blizzard. This is the second Return TM that I talked about earlier from the Lost Tower. This did end up coming in handy, especially for the rest of his team. I even had nothing for the Alakazam, so it was a good thing I picked this up. I did have to teach over Blizzard, but in my bag, I still had one copy of Blizzard left. So I am going to replace Return with this. So now we're going to have the Shell Bell and go take on Cynthia. She leads off with Spiritomb. I resist every single one of her moves, and I use just one Rock Polish because I really don't need more than that. And then Thunder actually one-shots Spiritomb with a crit. Next up is Lucario. With Rock Polish on my side, I don't have to worry about outspeeding it, and Fire Blast does the one-shot. Next up is the Garchomp. It was at this moment I realized I actually forgot to teach Blizzard over return, so I take a quick loss, go teach Blizzard, and try again. I also realized that the Spiritomb is a two-shot with Thunder, but it cannot do anything. It's not even worth worrying about. And now for the Lucario, I get rid of it with Fire Blast. I use Blizzard on the Garchomp, and now's the Milotic. I can't just spam Thunder on this because it's going to try and use Mirror Coat. So I tried to use Blizzard to do a tiny bit of chip damage and then use Thunder, but it ended up living in red health and then Mirror Coat one-shots me. So what I need to do is I need to use 2 Blizzards followed by Thunder. Plus who knows, I might get a bonus freeze out of one of those Blizzards. But fortunately for me, 2 Blizzards is enough and then Thunder destroys it. And then the Roserade is a one-shot with Fire Blast, and last is the Togekiss. I was actually really worried here because Togekiss was a 2-shot with Thunder. It has Aura Sphere, but fortunately, without the same type attack bonus, I live the Aura Sphere, knock out the Togekiss, and that is the run. Bastiodon clocks in with a time of 4 hours, 5 minutes, and 15 seconds, with Nintendo 64 resets at level 89, with a game time at the Hall of Fame of 9 hours and 23 minutes. This was by far the worst platinum run I have ever done. In fact, why don't we bring up the leaderboard? This thing is 12th place overall. This thing was roughly 58 minutes slower than Miss Magius, and it finished at roughly the same level too. But Bastiodon just had so many resets. And if you look at the bottom 5 right here, 8th through the 12th, you can see Roserade right there. Roserade did relatively okay, but look at the bottom 4. Rhyperior, Rampardos, Mismagius, and Bastiodon. 3 out of 4 of these Pokemon are rock types. I don't think rock types are going to perform that well in Platinum, and I can definitely already see that so far, but hey, at least I've done the 2 Sinnoh fossils, and I definitely don't want to play either one of them ever again, but still, you never know. You can't predict the future. But hey, thank you all for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. And be sure to follow my socials, or you could become a YouTube member. All YouTube members will not only have access to my own custom emotes, but will also have full access to every patch file of all the backported Pokemon we've done in solo run streams. So if you've always wanted to play Buzzwole or Pheromosa in Generation 1, or maybe Mimikyu and Crystal, well, now you can. Just become a member today and you'll have full access. I will see you all in the next video. Next week, I'm going to be doing Omega Ruby. I normally only did this game whenever I did a race with Sparks the Nico over on Twitch. He's also in my Discord server as a fellow fan, but I honestly really enjoyed doing the Omega Ruby runs with him in addition to X and Y, so for the new year, I have added them to my rotation and will be doing full edited videos of them. I'm excited for them, I sure hope you are. I will see you all in the next one.